Akio listeners, Let's Learn Sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe or visit me at Instagram, Twitter or Facebook at Let's Learn Sumo. So here we are at day 2, end of day 2 of the September Akibasho in Tokyo. Had a couple of upsets, a couple of unexpected results in the first 2 days of the Basho. Probably the best news was seeing both Kirishima and Takakeisho competing, seemingly without too much injury in both cases. Kiribiyama on day 1 had the headline match against the flying monkey Tobizaru. As expected, Tobizaru was not a pushover. He provided a bit of high-energy affair for Kirishima's return. Strong touchy-eye left Tobizaru just a touch too high in his stance. Kirishima, he's got this new aura about him as an Ozeki. He was a bit of an immovable rock. But he eventually let himself go back to the bales, where he got a grip on Tobizaru's mawashi and simply lifted him over the bales for a win. Pretty easy in the end. Takakeisho, he had a difficult time with Hakuto Fuji on his return. Strong touchy eye, led bit of power thrusting, bit of pushing in the dohyo until Hakuto Fuji took some backward steps. And he gave Takakeisho a good pull as he went backwards. As Takakeisho went down front ways, he went down at the bales. Hakuto Fuji stepped backwards. Look, at replays, it was really hard to call between Hakuto Fuji losing contact with his foot on the bale and Takakeisho's hand touching down and him going down himself. Look, it was really a choice between the dead body exception and a touchdown by Takakeisho. So the judges, they called a mono-e. They had a really long discussion, and in the end, it was probably fair. They called a rematch. Another touchy eye after the initial hit, and Hakuto Fuji got a little bit of a sideways movement, grabbed Takakeisho at the back of the neck, used his momentum, and got a really good Takikomi slap down. This is a pretty big upset win over the Ozeki Takakeisho. I would have said that was the match of the day for me, those two matches. As expected, the next match, the one before that, was Hoshoryu. He got a win over Abi for the Shin Ozeki, his first win. Some really good, strong Supari thrusting. But Hoshoryu, he was an immovable force, and he controlled it in a way that just allowed him to get an armbar force out. Daisho, well, look, I picked Daisho to win this match against Meisei, and he, once again, his style of superpower thrusting, it just leaves him vulnerable to Takikomi slapdowns and hankers, and that's exactly what Meisei employed at the touchy eye. He just took a step to the side, and Daisho, unfortunately, he just put his head down, really low centre of gravity. He looked down and charged forward, and with that sort of touchy-eye movement, it just leaves him at the total mercy of someone who can see it's coming. Whether he needs to lift his face at the touchy-eye or not, it'll surely dent his confidence taking a strong forward face-down move going forward in this tournament. As expected, Wakamoto Haru and Asanayama was going to be a good matchup. Asanayama showed his former Ozeki powers, and he just overpowered Wakamoto Haru at the touchy-eye. Wakamoto Haru, he just wasn't really in that game at all. He got a little bit diagonal in his move. He kind of left himself a little bit upright, and it's a really simple error. It wasn't really easy to spot, but they're easily exploited for someone like Asanayama, a former Ozeki. He's on the rise, as I said. Asanayama, Hoshoryu, and Kirishima, have to be the three favourites for this Yusho win. Shoto gave a good effort, but Kotonowaka kept him under pressure. Neither of them got a good grip. Shoto just got a decent push-out win for the Yorikiri over Kotonowaka. The big pillow would be a little bit unhappy with that. Other big match was Nishikigi and Tamawashi. Nishikigi had his calf strapped. We remember he did himself a little bit of strain during the all-stable practice, but he got it through the short match, and one of the replays showed he had that calf muscle under some fairly good pressure with a fairly forceful push, and there were no signs of obvious pain there, so maybe it was just a very slight strain. Other matches for day one had Onosho beating Ryuden. Despite some good recovery efforts by Ryuden, he just got a bit overpowered. Oho lost a bit of balance under pressure from Takayasu. Koto Eko and Hiradumi provided a pretty good finish to the bout with a Tsukinage beltless arm throw for Koto Eko. It was a really awkward movement for Hiradumi to go down. It could have gone either way, but I just think those big, powerful shoulders that Koto Eko has made a bit of a difference there. If you get a chance to watch that replay, it was a pretty good win. I did say before the tournament that if Midori Fuji can't beat Kinbozan, who can he beat? Well, it seems he can't beat Kinbozan. Look at the big size difference between the two, and I think Midori Fuji's footwork and his choice to go face first with Kinbozan left him open to the bigger man throwing him around. I just think Midori Fuji's strength comes from being mobile, keeping the bigger guys moving sideways. He's just not big enough to get into their face, into their chest first, or gripping or Sapari thrusts with these guys, and it just showed again. It was a disappointing loss, and I hope he can kind of go back and look at that and think, maybe I need to do that in a better way. Mitakayumi, well, he had a terrible tournament in July, 3-12. He came out of the blocks with a power thrust against Endo, who just had nothing in defence against that big man. That left me with a couple of good predicted wins and a few losses on day one. I got Kiribayama. I don't think I chose... Oh, yes, I did. I chose Hokuto Fuji, Hishoryu, Daisho let me down. Asanayama got me there. Kotono Waka, well, he lost for me. Nishikigi, he got a win up. Gonoyama got one up. Onosho, Koto Eko, and I think I chose Midori Fuji against Kinbozan. So not too bad for day one. Day two was quite an interesting day. A couple of really good matches there. Let me just go through my notes here. Chishoma and Koto Shoho, they finished 1-1 apiece. A little bit of back and forth. Koto Shoho recovered in a stalemate. Chishoma got 2 hands for a Tsukinage beltless throw. Nishiki Fuji won against Miyagiru. He got a pretty good grip with both hands. Yorikiri, good energy there. Sadanumi, he basically just got behind Aoyama. It was a funny little movement by Aoyama. It's just, I think Aoyama, his knees and legs aren't really strong, and he doesn't really have that lower body strength. Got himself turned around when his arms didn't work, and just got an akuridashi rear push out from Sadanumi. Mitakayumi, he showed he's in pretty good form. He got a very slow tachi-ai. They went straight into a grip, and in the end he just got an oshidashi push out on Takara Fuji. Basically pushed him out into the crowd. It was quite a hit. Hokuseiho and Endo, well, Hokuseiho, that's their first meeting. It was a pretty good tachi-ai. Endo was in trouble. He was kind of saved by a bit of a wrap around his neck. But in the end, it was a Kimadashi lift out. So Hokuseiho basically got a double grip around his belt, a bit of a stalemate, and then he just lifted the smaller Rashiki out. I think this is a pretty good way for Hokuseiho to go in the future with these smaller guys like Midori Fuji and Endo, and maybe even Hiradumi. Just get them around the belt and lift them out. There's no need to lean against them for a half an hour. Koto Eko and Kinbozan, well, look, it was pretty fast. Koto Eko tried some Sapari thrusting. He was pretty mobile, but he got done a Sugitayoshi thrust down. I just think he played Kinbozan's game there and played right into his hands. Midori Fuji versus Hiradumi. Unfortunately, Midori Fuji went out Yorikiri to Hiradumi. Look, it was a fast hit. Hiradumi denied Midori Fuji a grip. Hiradumi pretty much controlled it, but I really did like the effort that Midori Fuji put in. He just was a little bit unfortunate, didn't quite get the grip he wanted. I think he was either going for a Watanage or something similar to that. He just couldn't get his hands in the right position, and Hiradumi controlled him out. Onosho and Oho, that one went to Onosho. Takayasu took Ryuden with a Hikitayoshi hand pull down. It was a bit of a funny one. Shonanumi and Takanosho, Shonanumi got that one. He got pushed out. He was a bit unlucky there. He just lost his balance a touch. Gonayama and Ura. Ura waited at the tachiai, got Gonayama fairly upright and going backwards, and basically Oshidashi push out. It was Gonayama there, just some pretty poor defence, I thought. Tamawashi and Tobizaru. Tobizaru stepped to the right, grabbed Tamawashi by the arm, and Tamawashi just couldn't put the brakes on. Hikake, arm grab. Sorry, let me try that again. Hikake, arm grab, force out. There's a bit of an unusual tachi-eye, that one. Daisho got his first win up over Shodai. He just got dominated, and again, he just played into Daisho's game. It seems a pretty poor defence. Oshidashi push out. I don't know that you want to play Daisho's game. He's pretty good at it when he gets it right. I did watch him at the tachi-eye, and his head went down a little bit. Maybe not as bad as yesterday, but still seems to be a problem there. Match of the day for me was Kotono Waka and Asanayama. Look, Kotono Waka really put Asanayama under pressure at the bails, back and forth. He bounced off at the tachi-eye. Couldn't get a grip on him. They recovered. Asanayama went for the left outside grip at the bails, but in the end he got his grip and threw a really good Watanage, very strong. I think Asanayama has got really good ring sense. He knows where he was. He knew where he was all the time in the ring, and showed a little bit of Ozeki experience there. Pretty disappointing fight by Wakamoto Haru versus Abi. Wakamoto Haru, he went full forward at the tachi-eye. As Abi took a step back, he just went down on his face. A little bit disappointing, not quite in his form there. I hope he improves. I'm a big fan of Wakamoto Haru, but I think he's struggling with a little bit of form and a little bit of balance there. Ozeki Kirishima versus Meisei. Look, lots of slapping. Kirishima kept him at a distance, lots of arms, really mobile. But in the end, Meisei, he was just kind of kept off balance by Kirishima. A little bit too much experience there. Kind of lost his balance. They called it an Oshitayoshi pushdown. I think maybe just a slipatoshi, as they call it. Hokuto Fuji versus Hoshoryu. Well, here's the upset of the night. Hoshoryu tried to get a hand to get Hokuto Fuji under pressure. Hokuto Fuji got an arm under his shoulder. He had pretty good footwork, and Hoshoryu just got a bit too forward, and he went down Hitaki Komi. Look, I think Hoshoryu, he looked very disappointed with that one after that match. Just kind of, really small things when you're under pressure. Footwork maybe not as good as it could have been. He'll rue that one. I think he'll go home and think about that a little bit. Nishikigi and Takakeisho. Well, Takakeisho is he's also karaban like Kirishima, so he was trying hard to show that he's in power. He came out of the tachi-eye full strength. It was interesting to watch him come out so hard. It shows that his knees are back in order. You can't do that sort of tachi-eye with a really good strong knees. Left Nishikigi a little bit upright. Tsukitoshi thrust down. Really pretty convincing win by Takakeisho there. So look, that's day 1 and 2. Some pretty good matches there. I think out of the two days of matches, I would give the match of those 2 days to Kotono Waka and Asanayama. I really did enjoy that match. It was showed some fantastic defence by Asanayama there. Let's look at day 3. Day 3 we've got coming. Tobizaru will be facing Hoshoryu. I would think that the Flying Monkey, as much as he's in form, I think Hoshoryu will want to He'll have the fire in his belly after the loss today. Kirishima, Hokuto Fuji. It's not going to be an easy match for Kirishima. Hokuto Fuji's got his footwork worked out. He's in pretty good form. That'll be an interesting match. That's probably close to a match of the day pick for me. Meisei and Takakeisho. I think after today, Takakeisho has me convinced he's back in form. A little bit rusty, but that power in his lower body, I think he's got the power there. Kotonowaka Tamawashi, I have to give that to Kotonowaka. It'll still be a good fight. Daisho and Abi, look, I'm hoping to see a super thrust by Daisho tomorrow. Shodai and Wakamoto Haru. Wakamoto Haru is going to have to get himself together for that match. Shodo is not going to be easy. Nishikiki and Sanayama. This is going to be another really good match as well. Both in-form wrestlers. Takenosho and Gonoyama. That'll be a good match. Shonanumi and Ura. Onosho and Takayasu. There's a couple of good ones there. Koto Eko and Midori Fuji. To be honest, in the form that Midori Fuji's in, I think he's going to go down to Koto Eko tomorrow. Otherwise, Hiradumi and Kinbozan, that should be interesting. And a few low-ranked ones there. Tam Fuji and Miguryu. Should be a couple of good matches there tomorrow. There's a good one. Mitakayumi and Hokuseiho. Mitakayumi's got a little bit of thrust about him at the moment. He's a bit fired up after his poor tournament in July. Hokuseiho want to be on his toes for that match. So that's day 1 and 2, and a quick look at day 3, what's coming up. I hope you're enjoying the tournament. I am, and hopefully I can get something together by about day 5, maybe day 6, and we'll look at those matches that have occurred. Hope you're enjoying it. Hakiwa listeners, let's learn sumo.